For years, fans had wanted a Ghostbusters sequel in which the original cast passed the mantle to a new generation. The Last Thing.
Is this just gonna be the Critical Drinker video again, except not done as well? Critical Drinker's more entertaining. This seems like it's the same fucking thing.
This Organized Chaos video is brought to you by Gems Art Studio. This video is also brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello again. So this time we're returning to Midnight's Edge. Like I said, it was a channel I used to like when they used to mainly focus on, like, movie stuff. And they still do movie stuff, but, like, it used to be like, we have behind-the-scenes information on movies, and, you know, here's some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and it used to seem kind of interesting. Since then, it just seems to be more of just drivel, the regular right-wing film critique drivel that's been coming out of them. I think largely for views. I'll be blunt about that. But what we are looking at today is Obi-Wan Kenobi blaming fans. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Moses Ingram Deflection. Which is, I'm hearing this a lot. The story is essentially, you can't critique Obi-Wan TV series or the Reva character, because if you do, you'll get called racist because Moses Ingram got lots of racist DMs. This is outrageously false. I can't think... Nobody's really coming up with a good... I've been asking people. Nobody's come up with a good case of somebody being bombarded by being called a racist before critiquing this series. And lots of people have critiqued the shit out of this series. It's kind of annoying, but they keep on saying this line over and over again. It's clearly part of the narrative. They say it's the narrative Disney's setting up, but it's clearly the narrative they're setting up, that you can't critique Obi-Wan and not be called a racist. It's a victim narrative, essentially. Oh God, we're being called racist, and all we have is honest critiques. Yeah, you might have a person with an honest critique, but that doesn't mean you should be defending the people who do racist DMs. You're allowed to have honest critiques of Obi-Wan and say the racist DMs are bullshit, and nobody should be a victim of those, because those are awful. If you want to see them, I posted them at the beginning of my neurotic video a couple episodes ago. They were awful, and nobody should get DMs like that. Moses Ingram did, and it's awful. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what they say about it. The intro's fancy, I'll give them that.
Many felt Obi-Wan Kenobi was off to a strong start, but that did not last long. However, there is very little coverage about how many were disappointed in the series or why. Because the entertainment media complex is busy writing articles on how disappointed they are with Star Wars fans over the reception to the third sister, portrayed by Moses Ingram. But is it fair to hold fans at large accountable for nasty messages only a few sent? Or is this deflection?
Okay, I have yet to see Disney or Star Wars official blame all fans for the racist messages. They just start calling out people who sent the racist messages and saying, hey, don't be racist. That's all they fucking done.
From something else. In this editorial, I'll go through how Ingram was prepped before the release, the origins of the Blame the Fans playbook, and what, if anything, they could be deflecting from.
Oh my god, I think Neurotic covered a lot of this, and it's like, yeah, they got her prepped because they've been through it before with Kelly Marie Tran. Fucking Jake Lloyd in the prequels got fucking, like, the fans were terrible to him. They were terrible to Ahmed Best from the prequels. Yeah, the fans can be terrible, and they're just getting her ready for that. I think prep is kind of be expected, and yeah, they'll probably have a playbook for this because it keeps on fucking happening. This is like the 5th or 6th time it's happened. They're ready this time.
before Obi-Wan ever aired, before anyone really knew what the series was about, who Moses Ingram was, or what role she would be playing in it. It almost appears as if Disney and Lucasfilm in a way groomed her to see Rossism everywhere. We know this.
Rossism? Is that just his accent? That's okay.
Because she told us in a May 22nd interview with The Independent, which was all about diversity and Rossism. The whole piece is behind a paywall, and there it shall remain, for I have no intention of financially supporting The Independent. But thanks to comicbookmovie.com, we have the pertinent quotes anyway. A particularly gaslighting one reads, "Obi-Wan is going to bring the most diversity I think we've ever seen in the galaxy before. To me,
good.
It's long overdue."
It is. Actually, that's the thing. Like, how many major black women characters have there been in the Star Wars universe? The only one I can think of before Reva would possibly be, the one that was kind of implied to be Lando's daughter. That was kind of a love interest for Finn in The Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker sucked, too.
If you've got talking droids and aliens, but no people of color, it doesn't make any sense. It's 2022, you know. So we're just at the beginning of that change. But I think to start that change is better than never having started it. This...
True. I agree with that 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself, yes. Okay, so I don't know if Obi-Wan brought the most diversity of anything in Star Wars. That being said, Star Wars is long overdue for more diversity. And, you gotta start somewhere. I agree. There's nothing wrong with that quote.
This makes me think Moses Ingram hasn't seen any Star Wars made in, I don't know, the last 4 decades?
Nobody's saying that Star Wars doesn't have diversity. The question is, does it have enough diversity, especially in major roles? Like right here, like Forrest Whitaker, he's in Rogue One, and it's a cool role, but he's there very briefly, and he dies for no goddamn reason. You watch that movie, that's one of the most confusing things ever. Like, they're hit with the Death Star, but the Death Star is still kind of a prototype weapon, so they have time to get away. And, like, everybody gets away, and he just kind of decides, I'm gonna fucking chill. And he dies. And it's like, what the fuck was that? Nobody is saying Star Wars doesn't have diversity. And I think it's also worth noting all these examples he just brought up are from when Disney took over Star Wars. These weren't when George was in charge.
She certainly can't have seen anything made in the last 20 years, let alone anything else currently on Disney+. Either that, or this is but high-level gaslighting. Referencing the...
Or she's saying more diversity is better, which it is.
Alleged rampant Rossism among fans, Ingram...
I really think that's a weird pronunciation of racism. Whatever, man. I mean, I assume it's his accent, but... Okay.
Explained how Lucasfilm prepared her. It was something that Lucasfilm actually got in front of and said, this is a thing that, unfortunately, likely will happen. But we are here to help you. You can let us know when it happens. Take a note of that. When it happens, not if.
Yes. Because she's an actor on a major piece of, Star Wars is a very popular property. Yes, she is guaranteed to get some sort of racist backlash. The issue is how big will it be? Because lots of times it can get really big. It seems like John Boyega certainly had some, but it doesn't seem like it was a huge deal, but it was a huge deal for Kelly Marie Tran. It does seem to, like, recently it's hitting the women of color more than the men of color. So maybe a good racism, sexism double punch from the really toxic fandom. And yes, I will use the term toxic fandom when we're talking about racist fucking fans. I don't even like calling them fans. They're just fucking racist. Toxic racist. They like to call themselves Star Wars fans, but they aren't.
But when it happens. Meaning, they were counting on it to happen, possibly.
Yeah, because there will be some sort of backlash, because assholes exist. The issue is not when, the issue is not if it will happen, but how big it will be.
To kick off their pre-planned post-release wave of marketing, which is all about dismissing any and all criticism leveled at the series as...
That's the thing, there's plenty of criticisms leveled at the series, and the only people I see screaming about racism are the right-wingers, which apparently Midnight's Edge has now aligned itself with. These people screaming about the narrative are the ones pushing the most for a narrative.
Processism. Long-time watchers of this channel will recognize that strategy, because it is one we have documented many times before. Let's revisit the playbook. We first documented this playbook back in 2015 with the release of Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, or Fant4stick, which was the marketing title. For the contemporary record, check out our whole playlist dedicated to it. To briefly recap though, what fans wanted at the time was for the MCU to be enriched by not only a comic book accurate first family, but their rogues gallery, which includes both Doctor Doom, Galactus, the Silver Surfer, and so many others on the cosmic side. The purpose of this movie was explicitly to prevent that from happening, as it was but a rights retainer. Making matters even worse, it was given to a director who tried to change it into something it wasn't, and his choice of cast reflected that. As everyone in the whole movie was miscast. But
They were miscast? I thought they were all, like, here's the deal. I actually think Jamie Bell and Kate Mara, especially Jamie Bell, I felt like was very overlooked in that movie, and I think he's a good actor, but he didn't have much to do. They were all didn't have much to do. I think Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller were actually really well cast, but like poorly written. I think Michael B. Jordan as a Human Torch is a great idea. I think Miles Teller as fucking Reed Richards is a great idea. But was really poorly executed, and it comes down to the writing. It comes down to the storytelling, because that's what's important. Not the race, not anything these guys like to talk about. What it comes down to is the story and the storytelling. Probably the storytelling is the most important. You can get away with bad stories if they're told well, actually.
the entertainment media complex never acknowledged any of that. Instead, their narrative was that the only reason anyone could possibly be against the movie was that Michael B. Jordan was playing Johnny Storm.
Yes, they might have tried to push it, but that narrative never took hold. Yeah, there were a lot of people really racist. Like, the backlash against him being cast as Johnny Storm was outrageous, in my opinion. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, when I first heard he was cast, I was like, that's kind of weird. Are they gonna say he's adopted? And yes, they do. That's exact. Well, actually, they say she's adopted, not him. But they are still brother and sister, him and Invisible Woman. But I thought that was kind of weird. But, I mean, I still thought he was a good casting choice for the role, because I think he would do a good Johnny Storm. And now, the issue was always that the movie sucked. Now, is his argument going to be that got 9% because of racism, and that's what the studio's saying? Because, no, nobody's even going to remotely believe that. That is garbage.
I'm not denying that there may have been some comments of racist nature directed at him, and that...
Oh, there was a lot. There was a lot. A lot. I've seen a lot more directed at Michael B. Jordan than I've actually seen at Riva. A lot more. Like, intense amounts more. It was ridiculous directed at him.
That was despicable. But they were exceedingly few, exceedingly far.
We're talking about a very vocal minority, though. Like, there were lots. They were just a very vocal minority. We are dealing with assholes, but God knows when assholes have an idea in their head, they will run wild with it, and it gets obnoxious fast.
Between, and not representative of the fans at large. But that didn't matter. The whole fan base was raked through the coal and gaslit as racist.
Okay, so this is a random article he's showing. Anything can what? Okay. This week, the world of comics reacted to the casting of the new Fantastic Four film. The main cast of fans throwing their toys out of their prams is the casting of Michael B. Jordan, a black man as normally white Johnny Storm. The article from Comics Alliance details part of the reaction and the reason why the casting of a black man in a perceived white role. I won't go over some of the very good points raised in that article, again, as I suggested you read it. But essentially the problem lies for some that Johnny Storm, a fictional character, has been cast so he looks like this. Okay? And this is one article, and I don't even know what this is from. This seems to be an article riding on the Comics Alliance article. Why don't you like the... What the fuck random shit is this?
Financially, however, it didn't work, as audiences weren't shamed into going. And
No, that movie was garbage. That movie was a piece of shit.
so the movie flopped hard.
Worst Fantastic Four movie ever, not even close. And Roger Corman did a Fantastic Four movie.
Had it only ended there. For years, fans had wanted a Ghostbusters sequel, in which the original cast passed the mantle to a new generation. The Last Thing.
Is this just gonna be the Critical Drinker video again, except not done as well? Critical Drinker's more entertaining. This seems like it's the same fucking thing.
And I mean, the absolute last thing that fans would ever want was a remake. Don't believe me? Well, ask yourself, in what regard are the remakes for The Karate Kid, Red Dawn, Conan, Child's Play, or anything else held in? So naturally, Amy Pascal, then head of Sony Pictures, decided a remake was what fans were getting. At that point,
well, they called them reboots, and they were actually popular at that time. Lots of stuff was getting rebooted. You brought up some stuff that was rebooted that didn't hold in well. Christopher Nolan's Batman started the reboot train back in 2005. That was a huge hit. Obviously.
the movie was already doomed. But on top of that,
no, it was a meh movie, and people blew up about it, and it was ridiculous. I would definitely watch Ghostbusters 2016 again before that Fantastic Four movie. Not even close. There's some funny parts in it, but people overreacted to it ridiculously.
Paul Feig remade it as a subversive, female-centric parody with misandry.
Subversive? There's lots of words I'd use to describe that movie, but fucking submersive? Like, come on, dude.
Overtones. This enabled the marketing department and their hired PR firms to use the female-centric angle to deflect from the real issue.
Well, you see, there is a backlash because it's not a great movie, but there's also sexism. And here's what you do if you don't like that movie. You also say sexism is bad. You see, when you do this thing where you're saying, oh, that was a minority and they're using it to deflect. What you're doing is you're just saying, what those guys did, it wasn't a big deal. So if you go out and you do sexist and racist DMs and comments, it's not a big deal, guys. It's not. It's fine, and it's not fine. Fuck it if you do those things.
Namely, that it wasn't the continuation that fans wanted. The gaslighting of fans took on a whole new level when the movie became embroiled in the 2016 presidential election. Entertainment and politics, most notably identity politics, had been mixed.
How did it get embroiled in the fucking election? What the fuck?
The playbook was now complete. Paul Feig's Ghostbusters flopped even harder than Fantastic though, because no amount of shaming could change the fact that it wasn't the movie that fans wanted. We know this because years later, Sony allowed the Reitmans to make the movie that fans wanted.
Does Ghostbusters 2016 really have a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Afterlife? And the audience score, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit about the audience score, especially for Ghostbusters 2016. They would bomb the shit out of it. I'm surprised it's as high as it is for Ghostbusters 2016, the way fans bomb stuff. But really, is it that low for Afterlife? I liked Afterlife. Okay, 63 and 94. Wow. Okay, that's weird. I did not expect that. So, this is a situation where I look at these fans. I don't think I would give Afterlife a 94. That's maybe like a 75, 80. But 49, I think, is actually a fairly reasonable score for 2016. 49 is not the worst score ever. It's not good, obviously. But, fuck, it's better than Morbius by a mile. Yeah, I agree with the audience scores on these movies more than I do the critic score. That, never happens. That never happens. That's weird.
Wanted in the first place with Ghostbusters Afterlife. According to current Sony chief Tom Rothman, it did so well that the franchise now will continue with many more sequels to come. See, that's how you do it. The fans are your bread and butter, not your enemy, so maybe not treat them like enemies. Alas, if there is a
Okay. They aren't treating fans like the enemy, though. They're treating racists like the enemy. All they've done is call out racist, specifically by name. They're not calling fans the enemy, they're calling out racist.
company that has treated its audience as enemies in recent years, it's Lucasfilm. As we've established, the playbook on dealing with legitimate fan criticism now includes simply ignoring that legitimate criticism, and instead dismiss any and all criticism as
Oh, yeah, because there's some criticism you really shouldn't listen to, like anything from these guys, anything from Neurotic, anything from, well, Ben Shapiro for sure. Critical Drinker is weird. I think, if you just have like a regular like lower budget movie or something like that, then maybe you could probably trust Critical Drinker. But if you're dealing with some sort of Disney thing, for sure, he's just gonna shit on it because that's just the grift.
as Rossism, all while adding a political component. This is the Lucasfilm way.
What's the political component that he added? You gotta go into that. What's the political component? I haven't seen any political component. Like, what's the political component to Reva? Being a woman or being black is not a political component. What's the political component you're talking about in a Star Wars movie?
We've already seen it in the sequel trilogy. It largely took a break for the
Yes. What is the political component in the fucking sequel trilogy? Explain that one to me. Jesus.
Mandalorian, where diversity was organic and a complete non-issue, but on
How was diversity any more organic in the Mandalorian than it was in the fucking sequel trilogy? They're equally as organic. What are you talking about? The sequel trilogy I don't think is as well written, especially that last one. But it's just as organic, just that people are there of different races. Okay?
Obi-Wan, it's back in full force. Ingram
How? How is it not organic in Obi-Wan?
received allegedly hundreds of Rossicist comments and threats, of which she shared a few which would appear to be Instagram direct messages. While despicable and indefensible, they were from no-name users with no following, no sway, no influence, and who in no way...
Yes, but she got hundreds of them. That's the issue. When you get hundreds of shit like that can get to you, and that can be rough. That being said, all Star Wars has said is all Star Wars has said it don't be racist. That's their only reaction to this. Don't be racist. And you guys are coming out here and saying, how dare you call us racist? And they're saying, no, just don't. And you're saying, but we want to be racist. That's what feels like your argument is, but we want to be racist. How dare you say we can't be racist? Well, fuck you. If you want to be racist, go fuck yourself. I'm sorry.
way, shape, or form represents the fanbase at large. The playbook was nonetheless employed, and Fire and Fury unleashed. Forbes wrote, "The Star Wars fanbase is infamous for its toxic fringe, the loud minority."
Okay. It's infamous for its toxic fringe. I want to stress what that means. Toxic fringe. What they mean is there a fringe element to the community. Not the whole community. A fringe element to the community that is toxic.
Minority of hypercritical fans that harass actors for daring to play their parts. Their criticism overwhelmingly infused with sexist and Rossicist commentary.
This is all true. This is facts. This is stuff that happens.
The official Star Wars account stated, "We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say. We resist."
And I want to stress again, that's like 101. Of course they're going to say that. This is a new character in their new series. Of course they're going to say, we're excited for this character. Yay. Don't be assholes to her. That's all they're saying. Don't be assholes.
In a follow-up, they said, "There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a Rossicist."
Rossist. Are you adding extra C's? I'm confused. Alright, so that second tweet is just saying don't be a racist. That's all it's saying. Don't be an asshole and don't be a racist. That's all they're saying with these tweets. And these guys are acting like they're under attack. If you feel like you're under attack when somebody says don't be an asshole and don't be a racist, and they're not saying it directly to you, they're just saying it as a general message. It's like you hear it over the intercom. Don't be an asshole and don't be a racist. If you act offended by that, what does that say about you?
Which is particularly tone-deaf, considering how Lucasfilm sidelined both Finn and Rose Tico, and how parent company Disney shrunk.
They definitely... Okay, yeah, this is the same fucking playbook that the other guys are playing. Yes, racism is bad when Disney does it. It's also bad when toxic people do it. They can both be bad. He's trying to say, he's essentially running cover saying, hey, it's okay if you guys be racist because Disney does it too. No, it's not. Neither one is good.
Shrunk Finn and hid Chadwick Boseman's face on Chinese posters, all while shooting Mulan right next to Chinese concentration camps. Double standards aside.
Yes, these are all bad. So is doing racist DMs and comments. They're all bad.
Ewan McGregor also showed his support, and CNN were quick to point out how good Star Wars had acted in standing up to the fans,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... Number one, they aren't standing up to the fans unless you count the racists as the fans. They're standing up to the racist.
PR decried Star Wars for not having done enough. Mother Jones wrote an article titled, "Why Can't These Star Wars Nerds Imagine a World with Black People?" with the byline, "Fans are being racists." Again.
Well, again, this is Mother Jones. I don't like the way they phrase it at all. This one is kind of implying that Star Wars nerds are racist, which I don't believe is true, but is a very vocal minority. And frankly, these people need called out. They do need called out. Racists just need called out, because this behavior is unacceptable.
Again. Are they though? Or is this more deflection aimed at shaming?
Dude, you guys are the ones deflecting so hard. You are running cover for racists, and it is so obnoxious.
Audiences into seeing another product than the one they wanted.
If you don't want to watch it, don't fucking watch it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying you have to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Moses Ingram is by all accounts a fine actress, but on Obi-Wan Kenobi, she had the misfortune of being straddled with a character who is written as a pouty and angry child with a chip on her shoulder.
We haven't even seen her full development, and actually I really thought she did a good job in the last episode, so, she's getting there.
And no one likes a character like that.
She's a villain. Villain with a chip on his shoulder. Oh god, I've never seen that before.
Replace Ingram with a white actress, or actor for that matter, and the character still wouldn't have been received well. You see...
Yes, but I'm betting you, if you replace the character of Reva with a white guy, they're not going to get racist messages.
Anyone complaining about Carl Weathers, Giancarlo Esposito, or Ming-Na Wen in The Mandalorian? No, you don't, because none of
I'm sure they get racist backlash too.
them were written as pouty and angry children with a chip.
The racist DMs came before the show had even fucking aired.
On their shoulders. I get that there is an arc in progress, but that won't redeem Reva from having acted like a pouty and angry child with a chip on her shoulder up till this point. Because again, no one likes adults acting like pouty and angry children with a chip on their shoulders. If anything, it is irresponsible of the showrunners and producers.
I really feel like these guys complaining and conflating the main fan base with racists, these guys really feel like the ones running around being pouty with a chip on their shoulder.
Producers to straddle Moses Ingram with such a role. Alas, fans who point this out are shut down by those pushing the playbook. The earlier referenced Forbes article even made a point of chastising those who would dare to criticize the writing of this particular character.
It does?
Referencing a number of Twitter exchanges in which well-articulated fans do just that, only...
Wait. Wait, do they just say something like, hey, you know, fans like the series? Is that all? Like, that sounds like all they're doing. They're just posting up tweets from people saying they like the series. Jesus Christ.
Need to be held accountable for racist opinions they themselves never expressed, or actions they never did. While this is going on, reviews from episode 3 make it increasingly clear that while fans may have wanted an Obi-Wan Kenobi
Yes, and it got review bombed on Rotten Tomatoes. Jesus.
series, they did not want this one. In the next video, I will break down why not, as we go through what compelled Lucasfilm to pull another Last Jedi, which is exactly what they have done. To make sure you don't miss out on that.
Because everything relies on The Last Jedi. It's all about The Last Jedi. I did not realize that video would just be a fucking repeat of all the other fucking videos. He's just going through all the right-wing playbooks at this point. I'm disappointed in Midnight's Edge, but I shouldn't be, because this is just what they do now. They just read off the right-wing playbook. They sell off the right-wing narrative. This is disgusting. It's just dreadful. I don't know what else I can say that I didn't say during Critical Drinker or fucking Neurotic. It's all the same shit. He's running cover for racist again. Disney is saying, don't be assholes, don't be racist. And he's saying, essentially, the whole, you know, they're conflating the whole fan base into being in that group. And the fact is, no, these guys are the one conflating the whole fan base, and they're minimizing the racist stuff. Essentially saying, hey, Disney does racist stuff, therefore it's okay if you do racist stuff, which is shitty. I hate this narrative. Fuck these people.
They think order and chaos are somehow opposites and try to control what won't.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.